Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Touch Me Cal. So today we're going to do these two sets of stitches. The ruffle stitch down here, which is really beautiful, cute little texture, and the crocodile stitch. Now there are various components to these. They're just not done in one row. Each one has the elements has a bit of complexity behind it, but it really isn't as hard as it looks. Trust me. So I'll take you step by step. We'll get started with the ruffle stitch first. Let's go. Okay, so to start row 24, the first thing is you've got to be on the wrong side. There's my right side, there's my stitch marker, there's my wrong side. But you should also be aware that the last row you did, which was the Deja Vu, was made from this side, from the wrong side, and finished over there. And normally we would turn and work back, but we're not doing that. The reason that's important is because the stitches you're looking at are actually the right side of them. This is the side that we made them on. So your front loops, when you're looking for them to work, are exactly where they're supposed to be, on my dominant side, which is my right. If you're a lefty, they'll be on your left. So you're not looking at the back of this stitch, you're looking at the front of it. Now that's important just so that you don't lose stitches, okay? You need to know what you're looking at. Okay, so the instruction is join in the first stitch. Well, my first stitch is my chain 2 from when I turned from Deja Vu. There it is right there. Chain 1, chain 2, and there's my second stitch, my dominant side, therefore my loops are on the right. Okay, so you can join with a knot and make a chain 2 to count as your first half double crochet. I'm going to start with a standing half double crochet and get the 2 of the loops above where I've gone in and leave one below. You can see that there's only one of the 3 chain loops below it. Okay, and then just make a half double, or you can have that knot and a chain 2, join and a chain 2, it doesn't matter, it's your call. So now I still have my second stitch here and I can see it very clearly because I remember that I'm seeing the stitch from the side that I made it. That's why my top loops are so easily visible. And that's all we do for this row, just one half double crochet in every single stitch all the way down the line. Sorry to belabor the point about right sides and wrong sides. It's not just the right side and wrong side of the fabric, but you need to know the right side and wrong side of your stitch work. There we go. Let's get that one done all the way down to the end. Check your stitch count, turn, and we'll be back for row 25. So we've turned for row 25 now, and we need to make a chain 1. And then we have to put a single crochet in the very first stitch, and now we're looking at the back of the stitch, so my top loops are to the left, my non-dominant side. Okay, so be aware of that. So that's the first stitch there. Then it says back loop only single crochet in the next 196 stitches. So we've made one regular single crochet right there, and now we're going to do the back loop only single crochet all the way down the line. So let's turn, and we're going to see, because we're looking at the back of this stitch, that third loop that we sometimes use to stabilize a back loop only stitch is in front of me. It's right there. It's not at the back, it's at the front. So when I do back loop only, there is really only one back loop back there, which is the front loop of the original stitch. Okay, but don't let that confuse you. So just pick up that one loop and make a single crochet, leaving the front loop here free. And that's where the note told us to use a stitch marker and mark that first one so you don't lose it. And the reason for that is obviously because we did one regular single crochet here, so there is no front loop available there. Even though you can see a loop there, that's not the one we're talking about. This is the one we're talking about above it. Now the next thing we do is what I said earlier, one back loop only single crochet in the next 196 stitches. That takes you to the last stitch. We're not doing back loop only in the last stitch. In the first and last stitch we are doing one regular single crochet. So when you get there to the end, whoops, let me just get myself over here to show you, you will have a chain 2 down here. So just put a regular single regular single crochet into the top of your chain 2. I have a standing half double crochet, if you recall, so I'm just going to make a regular single crochet into the top loops, and remembering that they're to my non-dominant side because I'm looking at the back of the stitch, I'll put a half double single crochet in there, not back loop only, just regular. So the first and last stitch are regular single crochet. Very first one, if I can even get to it, there it is right there. And then from then on it becomes a back loop only. So just mark that first one so you know what you're doing. Okay, let's get that done, turn, and we'll come back for row 26. Now before we start row 26, just take a minute to take stock. Two things: make sure that you didn't tighten up. That was one of the notes, the cautionary notes at the beginning. And number two, now because we've worked back loop only, you may find that your stitches are curling backwards. They're not standing up, they're pulling down, and that's fine because we're going to work in the front loop later. We're just creating a background fabric here, so don't worry about that. All right, and then when you're finished, make sure you put that last single crochet as a regular single crochet, not a back loop only single crochet. Okay, then we turn for row 26, which is exactly the same as row 24. We're going to chain 2 up for the first half double crochet and then make a half double crochet in the remaining 197 stitches. That's all of them. And because I'm looking at the back, you've got to remember these are the front top loops of my first stitch because they're my non-dominant side because I'm looking at the back. So don't put another half double in there, come over here and put it in there. That's really it. So that's another row of half double crochet. Let's get this one done as well. Then we turn at the other end and we'll come back for row 27. The colours are not changing in this section, it's just setting up the background field for the ruffles. Alright, back soon. Okay, so row 27 now is a repeat of row 25, exactly the same. Chain 1 does not count. Single crochet, regular single crochet in the first stitch, and then back loop only in the rest, except for the very last one. And again, get your stitch markers out and mark that first front loop only, which is, see, already it's very hard to find it once you work because of this extra loop down below. There it is right there. So find it and mark it. It's right next to your regular single crochet. So mark your first front loop only, then continue on down the line doing the other 196. Leave the last one and do that one as a regular single crochet only. And then turn and you'll do row 28. Now I'm not going to show you row 28 and 29 because they are identical. It's a 2-row set. So you'll come back for row 28 doing half double crochet just like we've already just done. Then you'll do another row 29 which is exactly the same as the one we're doing right now with the single crochet. Regular single crochet in the first and last, back loop only in all of the rest. Now there are another 2 or 3 or 4, 2 more sets of these to be done, but for the pattern the first colorway changes color at row 30. So if you're changing colorway, you'll do it there, row 30. The rest of us will continue on in the same color. If you're following the second colorway, it's vanilla all the way to row 33. So in fact, I'll let you go and do 28, 29. They come in sets. It's the half double crochet, then the back loop only row. So there's 28 and 29, then there's 30, 31, 32 and 33. That's 3 more sets to do. And when you've done them, we'll come back and you fasten off and secure your ends and we'll then start doing the ruffles. Nice and easy. We've done our second set. We're doing our second set here now. 3 more gives you a total of 5 sets. Half double crochet from the wrong side, back loop only single crochet from the right side, but regular single crochet in the first and final stitch of every side of the single crochet side. All right, I'll let you go with that and then we'll come back and we'll have a nice little chunk of color here to work our ruffles on. Take your time, back soon. Now once you've finished up to row 33, you will have 5 sets of these ridges. I've only done 3 of them because I don't need all of them, but you would have 5, so you'll have 2 more sets finishing with the back loop only row. Okay, so that brings you to the end of row 33 where you fasten off and secure your ends. Okay, so that's what it should look like, a bit of like a rib almost in knitting. There you go. All right, now we're going to add the ruffles, and basically we're going to start back down here at the beginning where we marked that first stitch. Now you may have a stitch mark in every one, and that's probably very sensible. So we're going to start there. So I'm just going to leave my stitch marker in while I get organized. So now you need a new color, okay, and we're beginning on the right side, okay. And it tells you in the notes that colorway 1 works in violet and colorway 2 alternates the ruffles between azure and mint. So it's up to you what you do. I'm just going to use one color. It also reminds you to go back down to your original hook size if you changed up to get these nice and stretchy. Okay, and just a final reminder that we're now going to be working in that front loop only that we marked. Now I'm just going to give you a quick tip here, and you don't have to do it. Now because you can see a second loop here, you see that one? That's the third loop from the back of the half double crochet, but it's on the top, we can see it. So you can work in the front loop only as directed by the pattern. That's exactly where you're supposed to go to do the ruffles. You can, if you really want to, and you don't have to, I'm sorry about this curly bit here, is go under both of them. So have a bit of a play. It might not be too easy to do this one if you have like I have rheumatoid arthritis, and sometimes it's a bit fiddly for me to do things. I might go under both if it's easier for you. It really won't affect the pattern in any way. It's just up to you. But if you want the ruffles sitting quite on top and not pulling too much, you'll just use that front loop that we marked. All right, now we begin like this. On the right side, there's my marker. I'm on the right side. Join in the first front loop. We're not touching that initial single crochet, that normal one. We're only going to be working in the front loops all the way down. Okay, so just off the edge. So join in the first front loop and make a chain 1 that does not count, or if you want to, like me, you can make a standing single crochet under that front loop, pull my yarn through and make a standing single crochet, or you can have a chain 1. Now if you've got a chain 1, you now also need to put a single crochet in that same front loop so that we all have one single crochet in that front loop. Now we chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we'll put a single crochet in the next front loop, which is there. It's right next to it, right there. Single crochet in the front loop that's still available there, like that. So you've got this little chain there. Now we're just going to do that all the way down the line. Chain 4, single crochet in the next front loop. For a full pattern, it's 194 times. So chain 4, 2, 3 and 4. Single crochet in the next front loop, the very next one. There's no skipping here. That's what creates the ruffle, all these chain loops just sitting and crowded and bunched up, okay? And they will sit on top of the work like this. Nice and easy. Chain 4, whoops, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Get the next front loop on its own as per the pattern. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Or if you want to, you can use both of those front loops that you can see there. The front loop that you skipped and the third loop from the previous half double crochet. Okay, doesn't really affect anything. 3 and what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And back into, I'm going to use both of them this time and see. Oops, did I do a yarn over by mistake? I think I did. Single crochet. Chain 4, single crochet. Let's just put it down and have a look at it. Like this, and there it is, the ruffle. Just like that. Now if here in these first ones I use just that front loop that we did from that single crochet row, and you can see the ruffle sits quite high. Here I've picked up both, and it drags the ruffle down a bit lower. So you know, it's just an alternative. I'm not recommending it or not recommending it, just do whatever you like. But be consistent, otherwise you're going to have a bit of a messy looking ruffle. They won't all be on the same level. All right, so get that done, 194, and you finish with a single crochet in the next front loop. So you will finish here in your very last front loop. That's my my regular single crochet there, and there's my last front loop right there. Okay, there, and up here same thing. There's my single crochet, there's my last front loop. Let's get that done. I'll see you down the other end and we'll just finish off and move on. Here we are at the end of the first row of ruffles. So you've got to go all the way down, and your last single crochet goes into the last front loop only that you've got sitting there. And then the last stitch itself, if I can find my pointer, whoop, is here. It's right there. That's the last single crochet that was a regular single crochet. So there you go. Now, even if you're using the same color, you do need to fasten off, secure your ends, because then we're going to come back over here to the second row of front loops only. And then here it is there. There's my regular single crochet right there. There's my first front loop only. And you can use any color you like. And down you go in all of the front loops. And you've got this beautiful little bit of rough texture that you can see like this. So the easiest way to continue working these is to just fold your work forward like that a bit, and it just exposes that front loop nice and easy for you. Exposes both of them, but this one will just jump out and it's nice and easy to get. All right? Just don't snag anything else, otherwise you'll end up stitching down the rest of your fabric. So just pull it away and just get nice and cleanly under that front loop. Any colors you like. If you're following the pattern, watch your instructions there. All right. Okay, I'll just do one more and then we'll come back and do Deja Vu. I'll just refresh your memories about how Deja Vu works, and then we'll move on to the next section, which is Crocodile stitch. Right, once you've finished your ruffles, and I've only done 2 of my 3, I've still got a center one here that I can use if I want to. I might do that later. You should have 5 sets of ruffles if you followed the pattern. And the last one goes right into that front loop in front of those single crochet. The single crochet went into the back loop and the ruffle goes into the front loop. Now, we have to do a Deja Vu section now. That's these 2 half double crochet rows. Now we did fasten off at the end of this. See colorway 2, or colorway 1, I beg your pardon, continues in the same color. But look, we did fasten off, but it doesn't really matter. We have to turn over to start the Deja Vu. And yes, so I'm sorry if you did fasten off and you didn't want to. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll just get a clean start here. I need you to join in the first stitch. You can join and make a chain 2, which counts as the first half double crochet, or you can make a standing half double crochet like I will, like that. Okay, so it's nothing to this row. 1 half double crochet in every stitch down the line, remembering that you're looking at the back of these single crochet stitches, at the back of the work, but also the back of the stitch. So your top loops are on your non-dominant side. Okay, so let's get that done. All you do when you get to the other end is chain 2 and turn, or turn and chain 2, it doesn't matter which. The first chain 2 is, of course, the first half double crochet. Now remembering also when you come back, when you're finishing this second row, that if you've got a chain 2 here, don't forget to work into it. We've had this conversation in part 1 repeatedly, so make sure you get into your chain 2. 1 half double crochet there, you might have a chain 2. Mine is a standing half double, so I'm just going to go in under my top loops if I can find them at this angle, which is not easy to do. There we go. And then you fasten off, secure your ends, and we'll come back for the next section of Crocodile stitch. There's not a lot to remember here. Half double crochet in every stitch all the way down the line. Turn, chain 2 and come back. Fasten off and secure your ends, and you have already a very beautifully textured little section. Back now for the second part of part 2, the crocodile stitch. We have some notes warning us about tension and keeping an eye on it, and if necessary going up half a hook size. And the full stitch tutorial for the crocodile stitch is in the prelude, so it's quite several pages there of quite explicit instructions, and obviously I'll work through them with you. Now to start the crocodile stitch, I've just got a sample here because I just want to do the crocodile stitch separately for you. We begin on the wrong side, like that. So get your preludes out and follow me as we go and make crocodile stitch. We begin with row 36 from the wrong side, as I said. Now you can join in the first stitch, remembering that I'm looking at the back now of my half double crochet here. Join in the first stitch and make a chain one that does not count, then a single crochet, or start straight away with a standing single crochet like that. And all we're going to do is make one single crochet in every stitch all the way down. It's nice and easy to start with, just one single crochet, and immediately being mindful of tension. All right, let's get to the other end where we will turn. You do not end off if you're following the pattern colorways. They remain the same for the next row. Okay, back in a second. Make sure your stitch count has not changed. That is critical throughout this entire pattern. When you're doing the plainer stitches, your stitch count should always remain steadfast at 198 for the full pattern, or whatever it is that you began with. All right, back in a second. Almost done anyway. Single crochet in every single stitch. Now this is not front loop only, that's the third loop of the previous half double crochet, so don't be fooled there. I am actually working into both of my top loops. Okay, turn and wait for me. Here we go. The next row is row 37. It's just another setup round. We're just putting a little bit of distance between us and Deja Vu there. We're turning and making a chain two to count as our first half double crochet, and this is a very easy row also. Just one half double crochet in every single stitch all the way down to the other end, and then stop and wait. Do not end off. The pattern does not change color in either colorway, so both colorways will continue with the same color. So these two are just set up. There's nothing really happening here. The next row will begin the first of our 3 crocodile stitch rows. It takes 3 to get them done. All right, I'll be back in a minute and we'll start making crocodile stitches. Row 38 now is the first of the 3 rows that comprise the crocodile stitch. So first thing we need to do is turn over, because we've got to be working on the wrong side. Now if you've finished your rows accordingly and haven't changed color, then you're set up already. So we turn, and the first thing we do is make a chain 2, 1, 2, and that counts as a half double crochet. Then we need to put a half double crochet in the second stitch, which is over here. Remember, we are now looking at the backs of our stitches, so half double crochet in the second chain, second stitch along. Oops, I dropped it. Do that again. Half double crochet in the second stitch there, like that. So we have a chain 2 and a half double crochet. Now we have the repeat, and it's got to be done 32 times. It begins double crochet 2 in the next stitch, so that means 2 double crochet in the next stitch. There it is there. 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, like that. Then we chain 2 and we skip 2 stitches. Skip 1, skip 2, and in the third stitch along we put a solitary double crochet on its own. So we have 2 over here, chain 2, skip 2, 1 double crochet here. Now in the pattern, the next thing you're going to notice, so don't go on autopilot here, the next thing is a chain 1, and then we're skipping 2 stitches again before we hit the third stitch and start the repeat again. The repeat starts with double crochet 2 again. 2 double crochet. I will stop and have a conversation with you in a second. So you do 2 double crochet in the next stitch, you chain 2, you skip 2, you make 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Then you chain 1 and you will be skipping 2 before you continue. Now, make sure you've got enough stretch in that. Now, you may have noticed the asymmetry here. So on one side, we are doing chain 2 of the double crochet, chain 2, skip 2. On the other side, we're also skipping 2, but we're only chaining 1. Now, that may not look right. It certainly doesn't feel right to me. I'll confess it right up front. But it's so that the thing doesn't become too ripply. We don't want it too ripply. If, like me, you're feeling like your stitches are pulling too much and it's too tight, you can add a second chain here. If it feels too loose to you, you can reduce the chain 2 to a chain 1. So do a few and see how they sit for you. Give it a bit of a stretch to make sure there's enough room. And if you're seeing, if it's pulling in, you might have to reconsider the number of chains. We don't use them in the next row, but we do use them in the row after. But it actually kind of doesn't really matter how many chains you've got here, but it is really more about tension. So follow the pattern, but check your work and check your tension, and if you do need to make an adjustment, make it in the chains. So your whole row will look like this. You'll have 2 double crochet, skip 2, 1 double crochet, skip 2, 2 double crochet, alternating. And then your chains here going into the double crochet, we have 2, coming out we have 1. Okay, so this is the part that may give you some trouble, but take it slow, pay attention. We'll get down to the other end. You make this repeat 32 times. I'll meet you down here so we can finish off the side. Okay, here we go. That's what it looks like. When you've finished all of your repeats, you finish with a double crochet and a chain 1. So what we do now is skip the 2 stitches again after the chain 1, skip. In the next stitch we put 2 double crochet. I split my yarn. This is very loosely twined, this yarn, so it splits very easily. There we go, 2. And then the next instruction says 1/2 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. I do have, it doesn't look like it, but I do have 3. I have 1 there, 1 there, because we're looking at the back of the stitches. There's 1 set of loops, there's another set of loops right there, 1, 2, and there's my chain 2. That's my 3rd stitch. So you must put a 1/2 double crochet, not a double crochet, a 1/2 double crochet in each of those. Oops, I missed the second one. Let me try that again. I just have to stretch it out a bit, get in under the top loops of the second 1/2 double crochet, and then also into that chain 2 that I used to turn with, and it counted as my first 1/2 double crochet. So although we have only 2 1/2 doubles here, a chain 2 and a 1/2 double at the other end, we have 3. Okay, that's the end of the first of the 3 crocodile stitch rows. So now we're going to turn. Don't end off your yarn, we continue with the same yarn, but I'm going to use a different color just so you can see my stitch placement. All right, so for the pattern you continue with your color, but I won't be. All right, back in a second. For round 39 now we're going to do the actual crocodile scale. Now if you're following the pattern, you should not have fastened off. I have fastened up to use a new color so you can see what I'm doing. That's the only reason. So the crocodile stitch section is in extreme detail in the prelude, photo tutorials and everything, lots of words. Now let's do it. It is also summarized here in the actual row description. All right, so let's get started. It says chain 2, which counts as your first 1/2 double crochet. So you should have come up from that stitch there with a chain 2. I'm going to quickly make a standing 1/2 double crochet so I can get started. Then it says 1/2 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So each of those 3 that we finished the previous row with gets a 1/2 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, like that. Now it says chain 1. And then it says double crochet 5 around the post of the first double crochet of the 2 double crochet. So there's my 2 double crochet there, and I now am going to put 5 double crochet around the post of this first one. Okay, so yarn over, double crochet like a normal post stitch, like we do any other time, like we did in the alpine stitch, but 5 of them around that same post of that same first double crochet of that pair. That's 4, 1 more, 5. So here we go, here we are. See, there's the second double crochet. The first one now has 5 double crochet in it, and it's fanning down like that. Okay, now we're going to chain 1 again, and now we're going to put 5 double crochet around the post of the second double crochet over here, this one here. To do that though, you need to rotate a little bit. Rotate it away from you like this, so you can work around that post. So you can find it, get in under it, there, and do another 5 double crochet. So pinch it there, pinch that flap out of the way, so you can get into that second double crochet. Now it is a bit disorienting because you're thinking, what is this? That is not what we need. We're going around the post of the second double crochet, and I need a bit more yarn, and putting 5 double crochet in that one as well. And it doesn't look like anything until you fold it back. There we go. We've gone down and up around those 2 double crochet. They are now pretty much obscured by those stitches. Okay, that's all there is to it. And don't forget we have a chain 1 in the bottom there. All right. Okay, the repeat starts now. Again, we will do this one, how many? 32 times. And the repeat starts with a chain 1. Okay, and now it says skip the next chain space, the double crochet, the next chain space. And the prelude also tells you skipping right across to the next pair. Okay, we're only going to be working in these pairs of double crochet for this row. And we start again. So we skip all of that and we put 5 double crochet around the post of the first of those 2 double crochet there. 1, 2, around the post. Pinch it, turn it, make 5 double crochet in it. 2, whoops, 3, 4 and 5. Running out of yarn again, goodness. This is a bit of a yarn eater, this one. So that's the first 5 have gone into that first double crochet. See that? Chain 1, rotate, push it away from you, push it away from you, pinch it a little bit, grab that post of that second double crochet. This is where people get into trouble. You could so easily start working in there or in there. We find the post, and look, if you're really having trouble spotting it, especially when you're working in the same color, grab a stitch marker and do that. Then start your first one. Once you've got your first one in, you should be all right. Pinch it out. There we go. First one's in. Now it doesn't matter, you know where you're going. All right? Because when you fold it, it just looks weird. It doesn't look like you're in the right spot, but we are. 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's the end of the repeat, which we'll do again. I'll do another one for you. So there it is. Now this is where you really just need to take a minute, put it down, and make sure things are not pulling too tightly. Remembering we've just bunched 5 stitches in there. Give it a bit of a tug, stretch everything out where it's supposed to go. Once this thing gets in a wash and gets agitated, the stitches do go into place. So I need to fake that so I can make sure I've got enough room for my stitches. So there's my first set. First 2 sets. Let's do one more repeat really quickly so you can get the hang of it. It starts with a chain 1, 5 double crochet, skip all the way across, just skip that single double crochet that's sitting on its own, ignore it completely. Come over here to the first of the 2 double crochet, put 5 double crochet around its post. Don't pinch anything else, don't catch anything else. Got to get around it very cleanly. Sorry. 4 and 5, like that. Chain 1 in between, pivot around and tilt to get the second double crochet. Get your bearings, make sure you're looking at it. It's not there, it's not there, it's here. So get in under that one, pinch it, get your fingers in it and get under it. Oops, yarn over first, and make the second lot of 5 double crochet. I keep forgetting my yarn over. And just be careful not to accidentally slip out of there and go someplace else. Stay right in under there where that first one went. 3, 4 and 5. And that's 3 done. There you go. Beautiful. So let's get that one done all the way down. You will end up with 33 of these crocodile stitches, but I'll meet you down here for the last one so we can finish off the edge. All right? Even though I've only got one more to do, I'll wait for you. Okay, back in a minute. So I'll finish the last one with you. I've done the first 5 because it's a little bit fiddly at this end because there's only half doubles at this end. So I've done the first 5 now. I'm pivoting to get into my second double crochet. And really the trick to this is to go from the front under and up. Okay, the biggest mistake is putting these in from the wrong direction. Okay, and we can't do that. You've got to make sure you've got your stitches. Oops, see, I nearly did it. I nearly did it. Did you see how easy it was? I accidentally flipped my work and almost came in from the wrong direction. So you must really, really pay attention until you've got the knack of this. All right, so there's the fifth one. And the easiest way to know you've done it right is when you flip it back down and it's all sitting beautifully like that. So it really does pay to take that second after each one, push it down and check it. All right, once you've done that final one, we just chain one. Still need to chain one from there, and a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, which is your last 2 stitches. So there's one, and the other one is a chain 2. Don't forget that. So there's my half double crochet into this one, if I can find it. There it is. Like that. And a half double crochet into my chain 2. There we go. And that is the first set of crocodile stitches completed end to end. We started though with 3 half doubles at this end because we had 3 stitches finishing up the previous row, but we only have 2 at this end. 1, 2. All right, once you've done that, don't end off your yarn. If you're following the pattern, you need to come back and we'll do the 3rd row of the crocodile stitch, which closes this section off. I'll be back in a second. Row 40 now, we have to turn and make a chain 1 that does not count as a stitch, chain 1, and then put a single crochet in that same first stitch. So I'm looking at the back of the stitches now, so my loops are on my non-dominant side. So single crochet over here, and then it says single crochet in the next stitch as well, which is over here. Now this is because there's also a chain here, it's easy to get muddled. So find that first set of 2 top loops, there it is, and put a single crochet in it. The next set of loops here that's the back of the chain, that chain 1 we did for a bit of space. Okay, now just keep your work flat, all right? Don't lift anything, keep it flat. The next thing we have to do, it says 1 single crochet in the middle of the crocodile stitch. That's over here, okay, in between. Single crochet in there. Now watch your tension with this one, guys. Watch your tension. Now the repeat begins, and we're going to do this 32 times. It begins with single crochet 2 into the next chain space. Separate it out, get your crocodile stitch out of the way and find the chain space. There it is. 2 single crochet into that. Be careful of your tension now because this is single crochet. Then it says single crochet 1 into the double crochet of row 38. That's this double crochet down here that we didn't touch while we made the crocodile part of it. So single crochet into that, but it also says the red hint there is also to catch the chain 1 space from below so that we anchor the crocodile stitch. So we go into the double crochet and under the crocodile stitches, anchoring that chain space like that. So it's not going to lift. Otherwise, if we didn't do that, if we just put the stitch in there, this will lift. So there's nothing holding it. But what we're doing is catching this, the double crochet, and going under and catching that chain space so that it's anchored and it looks like this. So there's the pink going into the double crochet and around that chain space. Okay. Right. After that, we're putting 2 single crochet in the next chain space again. So get the crocodile stitch. You just need to get under that chain space and don't catch your crocodile stitch if you can avoid it. At first it'll be awkward. You won't really be able to figure out where it goes if you haven't done these before, but you will settle into a routine. So there we go. 2 single crochet in that chain space again. Then 1 single crochet into the middle of the crocodile stitch, right in there. And that's the whole repeat. So let's do it again. It begins single crochet 2 into the next chain space, single crochet and single crochet 1 into the double crochet and going under and catching that chain space between the crocodile scales. Then 2 single crochet into the next chain space and one in the middle of the crocodile stitch, like that. So from the front, and especially if you're using all the same colour, see mine's bleeding through because I'm using different colours so you can see where I'm going. But when you use the same colour, that will all just blend in. Okay, one more time really quickly. So 2 single crochet going to each chain space. 2 there, 1 into the double crochet going under the chain 1, then 2 again into the next chain space, if I can get in there. Whoops, what have I done? There we go. 1 and 2, and then 1 into the center, like that. So when you're finished, you should do a stitch count too. When you're finished, you will end up back to your original stitch count. Okay. So let's just finish since I'm here, so we can finish off the last little bit here. So 2 into the chain, 1 and 2, 1 into the double crochet going under the chain, catching that chain 1. Push it out of the way again, 2 more into the chain space, 1 into the center. And the last thing we need to do now is finish off the last 3 stitches on this side, and remembering again that we're looking at the back of them, so our top loops are to the non-dominant side. So we're not working in that scale, we're not touching the chain space that's right there, ignore that. We're going straight over here and putting 1 single crochet into the final 3 stitches. Now most of you will have a chain 2 when you started this row before, but I have a standing stitch, so I've just got to put my final single crochet into the top loops of that standing stitch, and that completes a full set of crocodile stitch scales for the first time. Okay, now if you're following the pattern, don't end off. We're going to turn and start again, because those 3 rows, the double crochet setup that we used to wrap our crocodile stitches scales in is the first, the crocodile scales are the second, and this single crochet row is the third. I'll say it again though, please, please, please be careful of your tension. Alright, let's get set up to start again. I'll be back in a second. Now before we continue on, I'm just going to take a moment to explain here. Now we've done 1 set of the crocodile stitch. We did a couple of setup rows, then we did the 3 rows of the crocodile stitch. Now in many patterns you will see the crocodile stitch happening again straight away, offset to get the scale effect. We just want some texture, so we're not going to do that in this pattern. We are first going to create another 3 rows of setup. If you look at the photo, you see there's a bit of a gap between the crocodile stitches, and then the stitch will drop down over that gap. So to begin row 41, you need to chain 1, which does not count, and put a single crochet in the first stitch. Because I'm going to do a brand new color, just so I can do a whole set in one color, I'm going to start with a standing single crochet. I didn't knot that last loop, so it's going to be a bit loose. There we go. 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in every stitch down the line. Okay, that's a nice easy one, and then we'll turn and we'll come back. So let's get this one done first. Please take the opportunity to check your stitch count, otherwise you won't be able to fit all your crocodile stitches in. Alright, let's get that side done, and then we'll come back. Just a single crochet in every stitch all the way down. Don't end off, the pattern continues in the same color, and we'll turn. Row 42, so we turn and we make a chain 2 that counts as our first half double crochet. And look, now we're looking at the backs of our stitches as well, and so you know what that means. So then we just make, after the chain 2, we make a half double crochet in every stitch all the way down. Another very simple row. The color continues again for the pattern, and we will turn at the end to come back for a 3rd pass before we begin our foundation row for the crocodile stitch. Alright, did I do it? Yes, I did. I do a half double crochet. There we go. That's all it is. Chain 2 to turn, half double crochet in every stitch all the way down until the very last one down there. Back in a minute for row 43. Nice and easy. Half double crochet. Row 43 is the 3rd of the just found base rounds, the setup rounds. Turn, chain one that does not count as a stitch and put a single crochet into that same stitch, and remembering again we are looking at the back of our stitches, so my top loops are kind of tilted away from me. This is not a top loop, okay, and just put one single crochet in every stitch down, just being careful of your tension as well, because these are single crochet and it is very easy to get up ahead of steam and tighten up. So just be mindful and remember that your top loops are facing away from you a little bit. Okay, that's it. Get it done all the way down. The pattern changes colour at this point for both colourways, so fasten off and secure your ends. I will continue in the same colour. Back soon. Row 44. So if you've following the pattern, you've changed your yarn, you will have fastened off and secured your ends. We now need to be on the wrong side of the work again. Remember, there's my stitch marker for the right side, this is the wrong side, and you need to join in the first stitch and make a chain 2, which counts as your first half double crochet. Now I'm continuing my yarn, but I need to do the same thing. I'm just going to chain 2, and that's my first half double crochet. Now I need a half double crochet in the second stitch. Again, we're looking at the backs of the stitches, so over here, 1 half double crochet, just like that. Now this is the repeat of I think it was row 38. So we've done our 2 half doubles. Now we're going to start in the next stitch with 2 double crochets. So over here we do our 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Then we chain 2, we skip 2, 1, 2, and we put a double crochet on its own in the third one along. Then we only chain 1, skip 2 and 2 more double crochet, 1 and 2, chain 2 after the 2 double crochet, skip 2, 1, 2, and a solitary double crochet in the third one along, chain 1 and keep going, 1, 2, there we go. Alright, so I'll leave you to do that, because we've done it before, I've just dropped it, never mind, and there we go again. That's the end of the repeat anyway. So just a reminder that we are in this pattern doing two chains going into the double crochet, only one coming out of it. Okay, that's just the way that this pattern has been designed so that we don't get a ripple effect. But I'll repeat one more time, if that's pulling too tight for you, you can play around with the chains a little bit, either just reduce or increase to get a good, nice, comfortable stretch, no wobbles and no pulls. Okay, all right, let's get that done. When you get down to the other end, we have to still do because the repeat ends with a double crochet chain 1, so you'll finish that over here somewhere. You still have to do your next skip 2 and do your 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and then you will be left with 3 stitches at the end, and you'll do a half double crochet in each one of those. Okay, and then we'll turn. Don't end off your colour, the pattern continues in the same colour, and then we'll come back and make some more crocodile stitches. Back soon. Row 45, so we need to turn again now. Now we're back on the right side, we're going to make our crocodile stitches. So the first thing we need to do is chain 2 to count as the first half double crochet, and then a half double crochet in the other 2 half double crochet from below, because there were 3 if you recall. And now again we're looking at the backs of our stitches, so get yourself into the correct spot. Here we go, 2. So that gives me 3 with my chain 2. Alright, so as you remember now, the crocodile stitch, we begin with a chain 1 and we make 5 double crochet around the first of that pair. So come in and under, pinch it, twist it a little bit, pivot it so you can get in cleanly under that post. 3, 4 and 5. Once you've done that first set of 5, you do a chain 1. Now we twist it away from us, pivot it away, and we're going to put the other 5 double crochet in that second double crochet under there. Okay, pinch that post so you can get in cleanly under it and make the first of your 5, and then carry on to do 5 complete double crochet around the post of that second double crochet from that pair. There it is, that's the first one. Then we do a chain again for a bit of air, and we skip right away across all the way to the next pair, and we start again. 5 double crochet around the first double crochet. Now you've done a lot of this by now, depending on how large your project is, but it's good to get a bit of a refresher. That's 5 of those there. Chain 1, pivot, come back around the other way, grab that post and do 5 around that one. 2. Oh, I keep running out of yarn so quickly with this one. And so will you. There we go. 1, 2, 3. I hope I'm still in the right spot. 4, find out. And 5. Oh, thank goodness. There we are. Now we've made 2. Now don't forget your chain 1s in between your scales and also in between the 2 halves of it. So get yourself all the way down. Finish up the last one down here. That's where the last crocodile stitch will go in. And then you must also remember you've still got 2 stitches at the end. 1 half double crochet in each of them, and then you will stop and wait because we'll turn. The pattern continues in the same color. I'll just get my crocodile stitches done and then I'll come back and we'll return with row 46. And the last round of the crocodile stitch section is the one where we do all the single crochet. So you turn around again, you chain 1, put a single crochet in that same first stitch. Now this one is always a bit tricky because when you pull the crocodile stitch down, it kind of bends everything. Lift it for a second so you can get your bearings. So here's my first stitch, remembering that I'm looking at the back of my stitches. So there's my first single crochet, and then I need another single crochet in the second stitch. Right, that's right next to the chain space. Now we can push that crocodile stitch back out of the way, and we need 1 single crochet in the middle of the crocodile stitch, in the little gap in the center, like that. And now we begin our repeat, and this is why I wanted to use the solid color, because you can see how you can easily get lost here. So just grab a hold of that double crochet and pull it so you can see where your chain space is. We need 2 single crochet in that chain, 1 in the double crochet catching the crocodile stitch chain 1 space as well. Oops, I didn't need to do a yarn over, did I? Single crochet, that again, into the double crochet and underneath into that chain, catching and anchoring the crocodile. Then we've got the next chain space over here, so just slide in under it, 2 more single crochet in that, 1 in the center. Start again, 2 in the chain, 1 in the double crochet and enclosing the chain, 2 more in the next chain space, that's 1 and that's 2, 1 in the center. Okay, that's it. So you get to the end, the pattern continues in the same color, so do not end off, but what we're going to do next is put Deja Vu on again. But me, I like to change color at this point, and I will go back to my Deja Vu color, which is it looks a bit grey on the camera, but it's more of a bluish grey. Okay, all the way down, you know the routine now. Actually, I'm not done yet. I just wanted to remind you that after you've done your final single crochet in the final gap in the middle of the crocodile stitch, you don't have to do anything else now at this end. You've only got to do your last 3 single crochet in the last 3 stitches. Okay, so you're just going to go straight from the center over to the last 3 stitches for those last single crochet, 1, 2 and 1 in the turning chain. I was just a bit worried you might forget that bit and try to look for a chain space to work some more single crocheting. But of course the big indicator is your stitch count, so your stitch count should now be back to 198 single crochet perfectly end to end. Alright, don't end off, we'll turn and we'll come back for Deja Vu. Okay, rows 47 and 48, which is Deja Vu. Now there's a reminder there, if you did have to change your hook size so that you can get your crocodile stitch done without it being too wavy, you need to now go back to your original hook size. So now we're going to start again from the right, the correct side, the front of the work. If you're continuing the yarn as the pattern is, you just need to now chain 2 to count as your first half double crochet. I need to make a standing half double so I can start my row, and as you should. Well, we've done it a few times now. The Deja Vu is just 2 rows of half double crochet all the way down. So get those 2 done, then you can fasten off and secure your ends, because we are done with part 2. Well done everyone, and then we'll come back next time for part 3. I'll pop up a picture in a moment of just the 2 completed sections, even though they are on separate pieces. Doesn't matter, you'll see them. There we go. Half double crochet all the way down. Now turn back here, chain 2 and turn, come all the way back down. When you come back to finish, for those of you who use the same color, don't forget your final chain 2 so that you don't lose a stitch from the count. That was nice and easy, and there we go. There's our little crocodile stitch section. It actually is a nice piece of resistance too when you brush it around like that. There you go. But it's not too dense and bulky as compared to the rest of the blanket, and I think the decision to leave a center section blank and not have another row of crocodile stitches was probably a good one. Otherwise the blanket would really become unmanageable after a while. Okay, let's get that done, and I'll be back to just show you the end result, and then we'll see you in part 3.